We'll just admit people as they join in. But for everybody that's joined already, thank you all for joining us here today. I'm Jordan Permonix, the Director of Sales here at CaptureNow, and I'll be your MC for this event. Welcome to the webinar. I'm excited to introduce your hosts for today, our co-founders, Chris O'Brien and Gary Falkowitz from CaptureNow.
Hey guys, good to see everyone.
Hey, thanks, Jordan.
Along with our guests, Josh Hostilo from Filevine.
Hey guys, glad to be here.
Today, we're here to help you master the two most critical parts of your firm, providing first-class client management and fantastic new lead intake experiences. The core problem many firms face today is how to get past the intake friction, the delays, the hold times, the inconsistencies among third-party providers that cause firms to lose their best leads. Friction creates a bad experience and results in lost opportunities, period. The solution? Combining CaptureNow's 24/7 instant AI intake with Filevine's seamless case automation to guarantee every lead is captured and every case is handled with care. Today, you're going to learn why CaptureNow AI guarantees a perfect intake for every lead from any source, how CaptureNow streamlines engagement for existing clients and documents all interactions in their existing case file, the best practices for integrating CaptureNow with Filevine to maximize lead conversion, and a look at the future of client conversations, AI chat support for websites, new portals for better visibility, and more. Without further ado, I'd love to pass this off to CaptureNow's very own Gary Falkowitz to take it from here. Gary?
Yeah, hey guys. They put me in a time limit over here, so as usual, I'm going to speak quickly anyway, but I promise to speak with a lot of passion and a lot of clarity. So let's start with the question that many people want to know the answer to, which is, what does a perfect initial call look like? Now, before I answer that question, what I'd like to do is start by sharing a major problem and a faulty premise. So what's the problem? In this instant gratification world where anything is possible, we are making our callers who have options wait. And if you're not removing the wait, you're creating a friction that can't be fixed. And I need everyone on this call to be aware of this problem and do everything in their power not to ignore it. Now, let me talk to you about the faulty premise. I have heard more than 100 times that lawyers believe that callers want to speak to a human being, and that's why they work with call centers. Folks, let me be honest with you. This just isn't true. It's not accurate. In reality, what we can all agree on is that in order to win someone's business, what we need to provide are really 5 things, and that's it. And please notice that speaking with a human being is not one of those things. Here are those 5 things. Number 1, speed, an instant response. If there's ring time, if there is hold time, if there is a need to put someone in this waiting room over here, you'll lose. 24/7, 365, we need to be first and we need to be fast. Number 2, professionalism. We need whatever picks up that call or whoever picks up that call to be smooth, to have strong listening capabilities. No need for them to ask someone to repeat themselves or to speak louder. We need them to be empathetic, and they always need to be on brand for what your law firm offers. And I bring these things up because I wonder oftentimes, now listen, I have my own intake masterclass. I've consulted with over 200 law firms nationwide. And when I ask a law firm to listen to their calls, quite frankly, they're surprised at what they hear, especially when it's from a call center representative that they haven't trained. So please, I beg you, listen to those calls so you can actually believe what I'm saying about how ugly it can get out there. Number 3, qualification. When someone or something picks up those calls, we need to make sure that there are key case details that are gathered without misses. They want to know, a caller wants to know, do they qualify? Whether you can help. They don't want to hang up wondering, wait, can they help or can't they help? Should I call someone? Should I the law firm? Should I call my cousin? What's going on? They need to know on that call, can this law firm help? And oftentimes what they'll hear is, thanks so much for sharing that information. Someone from our team will give you a call back shortly. We won't win that way. Number 4, thoroughness. They want to feel like the person they're speaking with has the capability to retrieve the necessary information in order to make the appropriate decision, right? The intake needs to be completed in full, and they have to feel like they got everything they needed out of that call, both the caller does and the firm does. Because if that call hangs up and there is more information that's needed, there's no guaranteed second conversation. I can't tell law firms enough. There doesn't matter how great that first call went. There is no guaranteed second conversation. So that ability to pick up fast, retrieve information, and decide what you're going to do is of utmost importance. And number 5, escalation ready. In a competitive world, your ability to escalate a lead to the appropriate person could be the difference maker. If you have a strong case, the last thing you ever want to do is tell someone, hey, it looks like it's something we can assist with, but let me go ask the lawyers on my team and see if they verify, and I'll give you a call back, or put you on hold for 6 minutes. It doesn't work that way, right? You need to be able to immediately warm transfer that call to someone with authority if you feel like you need to do so. And quite frankly, there are too many resources out there that law firms are relying upon, whereby they're not even able to consider doing something like that. And that's something that, when you think about CaptureNow, what we've created, we check all those boxes. And I want you to look at all of your resources, all of your answering capabilities, both internally and externally, and see if you check those boxes. Now, you might be wondering, is CaptureNow really better than people? And you might be surprised by me telling you with a resounding yes. Yes, it is. CaptureNow's response beats human response every single time. Here's this. Listen to this. So now CaptureNow's AI comprehension and memory advantages. AI systems like CaptureNow retain 100% of what is said in a conversation, whereas studies show that humans typically retain only 25 to 50% of what they hear in conversations. Think about the summaries that you get from the people at call centers. How much are they missing? How much are they not adding because they thought it wasn't important? Do they even have the ability to listen to every call? Does your team have the ability to listen to every call that your call center picks up to make sure that it's accurate or transparent? And mind you, this is coming from someone, myself, who owned a call center. We signed the most cases in legal for 3 years. Now, and I can tell you, I took a lot of pride in interviewing, in training, in managing, in supervising all our call center representatives. And I will tell you right now that I still, to this day, can't understand the mistakes that our team would make, because that's what we do. We're faulty. Human beings, we make mistakes. We get sick of the task that's in front of us, which is why AI is becoming something that so many law firms and businesses are relying upon. Now, let's talk about the error rate for a moment. Call centers have an average human error rate of 15 to 20%. Why? Because of multitasking, fatigue, distractions, whereas AI, trained for specific workflows, maintain error rates below 5% and improve over time with feedback loops. Let me give you another reason why CaptureNow beats human beings. Consistency. AI never forgets. Humans get tired, we get distracted, we get emotional. AI doesn't, right? AI provides the same level of attentiveness at midnight on a Sunday as it does Monday morning at 9 a.m. Now, this is crucial in legal intake where missing one detail, like a date or a location of an accident, could mean losing a case. Multi-turn memory. So advanced large language models, or LLMs, used in CaptureNow can hold structured memory of previous questions asked, making follow-up questions contextually smarter than what most human agents can manage, especially under pressure or an untrained agent. Let's talk about listening accuracy. and speed. A Stanford study found that AI can transcribe audio at 95% accuracy or better in clean environments, similar or better than a trained human. But more importantly, AI doesn't interrupt. It doesn't tune out. It doesn't miss a sentence. It doesn't ask you to repeat a whole story, right? In contrast, human beings might mishear due to background noise or accents, forget a piece of information mid-call, ask the claimants to repeat themselves, or have the spelling 5 more times, undermining the confidence. And lastly, as you know, fatigue and burnout, right? Cognitive fatigue in call center employees result in a decline in accuracy after just 3 to 4 hours of repetitive tasks. And that's per the Harvard Business Review. AI doesn't degrade over time. It's ideal for after hours intake or handling overflow without losing quality. Now, one system, total firm impact with real results. Now, the proof is in the numbers, guys. With CaptureNow, firms using our AI see a 15 to 25% higher lead to case conversion rate, simply by ensuring every caller gets prompt attention, right, on the first ring, every single time, 24/7, 365, empathetic and reassuring responses, which, as someone who has listened to thousands of calls from my clients, I can't promise you there's always going to be empathy on these calls, and intelligent answers to commonly asked questions. Sometimes the most basic questions are unanswerable by a call center rep because they're not even getting the name of the firm right. That's all a gamble. What we do with CaptureNow is we remove the gamble. And for all of you business owners out there, whether you're an owner, whether you're an intake specialist, whether you're a manager, COO, it doesn't matter. Your job is to remove the gamble. Your job is to create some level of predictability and forecasting so that the team can scale. And that's what CaptureNow does. Now, the firm's average answer time drops from, listen to this, with human beings and call centers, it's more than 25 seconds on average. CaptureNow, under 2 seconds every single time. Call length, intake calls, where, oh, by the way, with call center representatives and call center teams, you're paying by the minute. Well, they're 3 times longer with call centers than they are with CaptureNow. An 11-minute call is right about just over 3 minutes with CaptureNow. And here's the big one, missed calls. In reality, many law firms don't even know which calls are missed. They're not getting that report. They're not looking it up. They're not calling back. There's none of that transparency. Well, you should know that the missed call rate with call centers is between 7 and 10%. With CaptureNow, less than 2%. Now, here's the cool thing. It's not just for new leads. We're also serving existing clients. So we're building confidence, we're maintaining that confidence, and then we're creating a trust with our clients. Because CaptureNow delivers instant responses for every call, every web chat that's answered 24/7. There's a flawless script, adherence, enriched data capture on every interaction. And then there's an automated follow-through where we have an instant API push into your CRM. It creates a task. So now imagine your current client calls up, wants to leave a message for the lawyer, leaves the message. That message goes into the CRM and creates a task for that legal team to call that person back. Not to mention there's a post-call text that goes out to the caller that says, by the way, thank you so much for reaching out to our firm. Someone will reach out to you momentarily or shortly, whatever words you want to put in there. And the result, clients feel heard and confident that they chose the right firm, that your team can rest easy knowing that every caller is handled appropriately, right? And that's what we're looking for. Now, don't just take my word for it. I want you to hear this. So I'm going to give you a very, very quick demo. Okay, so hear this out. It's only going to take 2 minutes, but I want you to hear what it sounds like.
Hi, this is Amy. I'm a virtual assistant with CaptureNow. How can I help you?
Hi, Amy. I think I need a lawyer. I was in an accident and I was injured.
I'm really sorry to hear that you were in an accident and got hurt. I'll do my best to help you get connected with someone who can assist. Just in case we get disconnected, may I have your full name?
Absolutely. It's Gary Falkowitz.
Thank you, Gary. What is the best phone number to reach you on?
917-226-4833.
Got it. Thank you. Could you please describe how the accident happened?
Yeah, I was walking across Flatbush Avenue. I had the walk signal in my favor. I looked left and I start to walk, and on the right side, a car was speeding down, and he ended up hitting me directly.
Thank you for explaining that, Gary. I'm really sorry you went through that. Were you injured in the accident?
I was. My whole right leg, I'm unable to move it right now. I'm in tremendous pain.
Sorry to hear that, Gary. That sounds really painful. Have you received any medical treatment for your injuries so far?
Yes, the EMS came. They took me to the hospital, and I'm currently waiting for the doctor to come into the room.
Thank you for sharing that. It's important that you're getting medical attention. When did the accident take place?
It was about 6 hours ago.
Thank you for that information. Where did the accident occur? You mentioned Flatbush Avenue, but could you provide the specific location or intersection?
Absolutely. It was on Flatbush Avenue. I don't remember the cross street, but it was in Brooklyn, New York.
Thank you, Gary. Was law enforcement called to the scene?
They were. You know what? I'm in a rush right now. Is this something your law firm can handle?
Yes, Gary. Our law firm can definitely handle cases like yours. I have gathered enough information to get started. You should expect to hear from our team shortly. Thank you again for calling, and I hope you feel better soon. Goodbye.
Take care. Guys, that call was under 3 minutes. And had I had the process in place with CaptureNow to warm transfer qualified leads to an attorney, that call would have been warm transferred. Now, I honestly, I challenge you. How long do you think that call would have lasted if a call center representative picked up that call? And how many times would they have asked me to repeat myself? Now, I want to show you something really cool because I already have a summary that was provided on that call emailed to me. That's how quick this went. So I'm going to share it. Give me 10 seconds here. Share my screen. Present now. Hold on a moment. And here it is. Look at this, guys. Caller ID, Gary Falkowitz. It said Gary Zuckowitz. I'm okay with that. The caller ID was accurate. It has my phone number. It gave me a summary. Caller Gary Zuckowitz reported that he was injured in an accident on Flatbush Avenue in Brooklyn, New York, when a speeding car hit him while he was walking. They had the walk signal. He mentioned that his entire leg is now immobile and he's in significant pain. And EMS has already taken him to the hospital. The call was made seeking legal representation for his personal injury case. And every Q&A is here. Guys, you can't make this up. You can't make this up. So I want you, if you're on this call right now, after this call, reach out to CaptureNow, do a demo, and for less than half the price that you're probably paying your call center, you're going to get 100% accuracy and 100% predictability. Now, having said all that, I want to stop my screen, stop presenting, and I want to hand this over because I wanted to finish by saying that we've established that CaptureNow delivers a faster, more accurate, more reliable experience on the front line because it ensures that every lead is captured instantly, that every detail is documented perfectly, and that your brand is represented flawlessly. And I want you to understand that running away from AI in the current atmosphere is going to hurt your business. Try it, test it, ask about it, and as it makes sense for you, jump into it. I promise you, it will result in more efficiency and the potential for exponential growth. But capturing perfect intake data, that's only half the battle, guys. The real question is, what happens next? How do you perform that perfectly captured call into a seamlessly managed, profitable case? And that's where Filevine comes in. I'm going to hand it over to Josh to show you how CaptureNow and Filevine connect to create a complete end-to-end system for intake, case management, and client success. Thank you all very much for your time. Josh, all you, pal.
Thank you, Gary. Yeah, I'll be honest. The first thing I want to answer is that call typically in your intake center would have been somewhere between 9 and 11 minutes. And again, the frustration would have been there. There would have been multiple questions of how to spell your last name and tell me exactly where it happened and how it happened over and over again. And Chris has probably seen this as much as I have, right? From an intake perspective, the notes that come from that call that you showed in that email almost never show up in your lead intake program, right? It doesn't, whatever you're using, someone is still manually typing that in. And even if you are using some type of recording, that recording gets posted later. Look how fast that was with CaptureNow. I think that's incredible, Gary. Honestly, man, it's an incredible platform. But what we've created here is we've created this connection with Filevine and LeadDocket. And so you see here on the screen, this graphic is really beautiful when it comes to the client call is intercepted before it gets to the intake team, before it gets to an attorney. It's intercepted by CaptureNow. And what Gary demoed is that ability to really ask the right questions at the right time with the right amount of empathy and sympathy that goes along with each one of those case types. Because not everybody deals with PI. Sometimes these things are maybe divorce cases or things that are really tough to have conversations around. And that ability to say, hey, we hear you and we want to make sure that you're taken care of, and can they take care of you, right? All of those things are the things that you want in any call that you have with anybody in a time of need, right? And so with the ability to create that type of call and use that type of information and collect the data from it and then pass that directly into your Filevine environment or your LeadDocket environment. And I say both because, look, every firm works differently. There are times where some firms, like a mass tort or a class action, those leads take longer to process and get through all of the questions, and there's follow-ups, right? Those things may stay in your lead management system, which for Filevine is LeadDocket, or others, which is like a PI that can be quickly qualified and disqualified, would show up in your case management platform, your Filevine platform. And so that direct connection was the ability to really take that information and get it there. I think this graphic also explains that those deviation points, maybe there is your type of flow. It says, hey, if they mention that there is a death involved in this accident, get it to a human agent immediately, right? Those things are important, right? Not only, look, AI is great and it does provide the empathy and the sympathy, but those high value cases are important to get in front of a person really fast, right? And so having that full on autonomy of being able to say the deviation points are here and this is where we would like them to go. But again, creating that connection here between CaptureNow and your platform is truly a seamless integration. Look, I ran intake for a very long time at a mass volume firm, and I can tell you we had 7 internal people answering phones 24/7, right? They were staggered in space. We were spending a lot of money to make sure that they were asking the right questions and following up in the right manner and doing all of these things, when CaptureNow is really taking the place of that, right? And they're really having those, we don't need 7 anymore. You need 1 or 2 to be your escalation points. You need an attorney to be an escalation point, but you don't need 7 people asking the same questions. And then also, oh, by the way, what if that person's sick? AI doesn't get sick, right? You don't pay the insurance cost of AI, right? Those are all things dealing with humans within your environment that you can't predict or change. And so that ability to really have a seamless connection is important, I think, to any firm that's going to be using these platforms. And so as we talk about it a little more, Jordan, let's flip it over to the next one. Yeah, so I want to talk a little bit about the seamless integration. Filevine recently made a pretty big change in the way that we handle our integrations with not only our partners, but other, tools like Zapier that other firms are using across the country. And originally we had what we called an API key. And an API key in the most truest form is a key to the front door of your house, right? And so if someone has a key to the front door of your house, they can essentially walk in, see everything, put things in your house, and even take things out of your house. And really there is no way to guard that via a regular API key. And so they made a huge transition in the last 6 months to what we call personal access tokens. Personal access tokens actually allow you to dictate exactly what is in the system and is viewed from that partner you're working with, and also what can be passed into your system from that partner. And so again, the seamless integration allows each partner to really define the scopes of how they're working within your system so that you can trust that anything that is being shown to your partner and anything that is being pushed to your Filevine environment from your partner is exactly what you have discussed in your contracted terms with each one of them. And so again, that is that security that we want to make sure that happens, but also it's a seamless transaction now. It no longer needs an API, key and secret. It's that ability to say, here's our personal access token. This is directly for our environment, and here are the fields that are available, right? And then again, the best practice for integration is that ability to say, I can give someone a key to maybe the garage, but they don't get access to the house. And this is what that is, right? This is the thing. I have a certain section in my Filevine that I like all of my calls to go in. I'd like all of my summaries to go here. And that, again, that allows for tasks to be built off of those things. So again, not only are we seamlessly passing call data and passing that information in, we're also now asking your team, follow up on this, do these things. Call the client back at this specific time. Make sure the text is sent to this client later. And so, again, your Filevine team now has that ability to really scale and be able to work within the platform just by having a front-end CaptureNow AI agent that's answering those calls. I think Gary hit on it very small, but I will talk about the ability for a client to call while they're already a client, right? The potential client is one thing, but once they become a client, they call a lot. They want to know where they are in their legal process, and having that ability for someone to really leave a message, or ask questions and be able to have those questions populated in the case. So when someone calls them back, they're not saying, hey, we noticed you called, and then they're repeating all of that data all over again, right? That's the leading part of frustration. And so that leads me into, look, I'm not going to be the bearer of bad news here, but at the end of the day, the number one bar complaint is attorney-client communication and the lack thereof. Right? And so Filevine made an attempt at this last year to say, hey, we want to help solve this. We want to help our attorneys that are in our platform and our legal teams that are in our platform to communicate better to their clients. And there never be a bar complaint against one of our clients for lack of communication, right? Provide an option. And so Filevine, over the last year, built a client portal. And that client portal is really unique because it is built directly within the Filevine platform. It allows for our legal teams to really invite specific contacts on their Filevine cases to be able to see and view where they are in the legal process. We have timelines, right? So those timelines are that ability to say that you're currently here and this is what that means, right? So if someone is in a PI case and they're in treatment, their job is to go and get treatment. Their job is to help recover and let the law firm start the legal processes, right? Sending the retrieving the deck pages, sending the letters of rep, doing all the things that they would do during that treatment phase, right? But also, what happens next? The legal client sometimes is like, well, I'm here. I know I'm here. What is going to happen in 6 months when I'm done with treatment? And so that timeline allows for them to see a little bit into the future on what's next. How do I proceed in this legal case? But additionally, we added many new things. We've added the ability to message directly to your law firm. So that ability to right there in that client portal, they can message to the project in Filevine, and that shows up in the feed, and there's notifications for attorneys, paralegals. We also added the ability in Filevine to create text notifications back to the legal team. So if they get something in the project and it's urgent, they'll know that immediately via text or even an email, however they prefer their best form of notification. And for the legal client, we've also added the ability to upload documents. So say they get a bill in the mail and they want to get that to the law firm, right? The most amount of time in a legal case is retrieving documents, right? And that is, to be completely honest, it's such a mundane task. It's such a time-consuming task because you're reaching out to these teams that for some reason only answer phone calls or maybe only want you to fax a request. And as you can imagine, fax is not a great way of communication. And so that ability to really communicate with them and have that those documents being uploaded, and you can also share back to the client. And then the last part that we've been able to really get off the ground in the last 3 months is we have a new thing called the portal forms. And a law firm can create a form based off of the project that's in Filevine, and they send that over to the legal client, and it has questions directly in the case. And so when the client answers and submits that form, it actually pushes that information back into Filevine fields so the client can truly update their legal case in Filevine at the time. Not only that, we provide a change log inside the client, inside the Filevine project. And we also create a copy of that, a PDF copy of that to be posted in the project as well. So the law firm truly knows what has changed by the client and what the firm is also updating as well. So all of those things kind of lead in to where we've really created this seamless communication. So think about a time where CaptureNow is answering your front end intake. They're taking those calls. Either it's going directly into Filevine or through Lead Docket, but either way, it ends up in Filevine. Client calls throughout the process. They can leave messages. Those messages are going to end up in Filevine. They can now have an access to a client portal, and they can get that information back and forth seamlessly. They know where they are, and so no more complaints. And so for all of you attorneys and firms that want those Google reviews, this is the way to get it, right? Having seamless communication from end to end, right? That honeymoon phase should last the whole time. It shouldn't end at intake. And a lot of times we see it end at intake. So with that, I will pass it over to Chris. Take it from here.
Yeah. So Josh, appreciate that very much. And just, talking about your background a little bit, you were basically the COO for one of the largest, personal injury marketing law firms within Georgia. So you know this stuff firsthand. Love that you joined Filevine to be able to bring that direct experience to them. And those two latest updates that you have there with the personal access tokens, as well as the portal, I think are just an example of that and understanding exactly what the clients are needing right now. So kudos to you for building those out. I'm certain that they're being well received by our clients. One thing also to connect a dot between those existing callers that would get CaptureNow and that Filevine client portal is that at the end of the call, we can actually text a link to the individual's client portal within Filevine, so that as soon as they hang up or we handle the call at the CaptureNow level, they are immediately able to access that client portal within the Filevine environment and be able to communicate that way. So we're actually driving callers into that portal, which is, I think, a big win for both groups. When we talk about the future of CaptureNow and really just AI intake in general, Josh also mentioned this, is that we're seeing firms, when we first launched CaptureNow, we were a night's overflow and weekend solution. So they would, when they went home for the day, we would back up their existing staff. Nailed it, did a great job at that. Firms started saying, you know what, well, during the day, can we maybe bifurcate our existing clients off and have CaptureNow answer those directly and kind of pull our human capital off of that task? Or could we take our med mal cases or our employment law cases and send those through CaptureNow, pulling that kind of off of their human staff and allowing them to be able to focus on auto accidents? And over the last few months, we see firms actually decreasing their front end agents to be able to have every call go through CaptureNow, do that pre-qualification. They're only spending, their human resources on calls that were actually going to be something that they want to sign up and retain. So we're seeing that shift immediately right now. I think a lot of it, of course, is staffing, cost concerns. Cost per cases are getting really expensive, and so this is a method in which firms are using AI to drive those costs down to be able to be more profitable or have a better outcome. From an actual product standpoint, we're trying to meet clients where they're at. And so we are, within the next month, going to be offering full omni-channel support. So in addition to phones, if somebody wanted to web chat, if somebody wanted to just SMS, we can handle those same conversations in the same flow via those conversation methods, and integrate those in exactly the same manner. They show up in the portal exactly the same way in which Gary showed his phone call showing up. And so true kind of omni-channel, wherever that client wants to meet us, even if they wanted to Facebook message the firm, we would be able to have those conversations in the same manner through like a Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp type scenario. We're also going deeper and deeper into the AI sentiment to not only show more empathy. We show a lot of empathy today, but being able to show more and more, and also to be able to understand or decipher the empathy that we're getting, the emotions that we're getting from the caller on their end. And that will help us to be able to kind of meet that client where they're at from an empathy standpoint or kind of a tone of the conversation standpoint. Also doing lead analysis, ability for us to be able to take the information that was captured through the initial intake, provide some case value analysis for you. And then one of the other neat things that we do with Filevine that really drives the two systems together is that throughout the intake process, we have the ability to be able to identify very specific fields throughout that intake that will map directly over into the specific fields within the lead docket system or the Filevine case itself. So as an example, if you wanted a specific address where something happened, or who the insurance company is, or a policy number, or the adjuster's name if they already have that, we're capturing all that information and can map those directly to the appropriate locations within LeadDocket or Filevine. So that's just some of the upcoming things that we have in the next couple months here. At this point, that really wraps up the presentation portion of this webinar. We are going to open it up to Q&A, which I think we already have a couple of here. So want to be able to open it up to Q&A if anybody wants to chat inside the chat window on the bottom right and ask a question. But we can go ahead and jump into that now.
Yeah, Chris. It looks like Matt Hartley had a good question around can it recognize existing clients, and if so, what does it do with the call? So I can tell you from my perspective on these things. We actually, from a LeadDocket perspective, have a special endpoint that allows you to actually ping a phone number. And so from our side, we can actually tell you exactly what status it is in. If it's in a signed up status, we can tell you that. If it's in, you're still in some of a lead status. Filevine has that same option, right? If the phone number exists, it will tell you which project it exists with. It actually will return some team info as well. And so that ability to really pass it to the right person is really a dictation on how the API is being used. But yeah, I'm sure that Chris and them have that ability as well.
Yeah, we definitely do, Josh. And actually with the LeadDocket Filevine combination, we do exactly that. We basically understand if it's a new client, it would get integrated into, or a new potential lead gets integrated into LeadDocket so that the intake team can manage it from there. If we identify it's an existing client, we would enter a phone note into Filevine, into the project, as well as schedule a task for the designated or primary team member on that project.
Yeah. Chris, I got an email over here asking about the cost of CaptureNow. Can you share that with the team?
Sure. So the cost for CaptureNow, there's a platform fee, a monthly platform fee. It's $200 per month for that. And then just simply a flat $1.95 per call. So there's no per minute fee. There's no additional cost. It's just every call that goes through the AI experience would be $1.95, which equates to typically about a 60 to 70% savings off of a traditional human-based call center. I'm seeing one here. Will this recording be shared? Absolutely. We can follow up this with a email to everybody that's registered with a recording of this webinar as well.
Yeah, I really love the one that just came in. There's two questions in this, kind of a two-part, but the first one is, does it detect non-English languages and can it speak in different languages?
Yeah, so actually, interestingly enough, there's two ways for it to be able to work with languages. One, we can have what we'll call a multilingual experience where it can detect the language that individual is speaking and then immediately convert to that language. The other options is to be able to get a dedicated line for that specific language. So as an example, if you are marketing specifically to the Spanish community, and when you have people that call in, you want them to get that Spanish experience immediately, you can do that. The other thing with CaptureNow right now in the wild, we have 5 different languages that are being supported. We can support more. These are just the first 5 that we have out there, but it's English, Spanish, Russian, Portuguese, and Creole are the 5 languages right now in the wild, but our capabilities is really endless from that standpoint.
Yeah, and I'll say it from the cool thing about a Filevine side, on the client portal side, we actually detect the browser language. And so Google allows the users to set up browser language. So normal web pages can be converted to whatever language they read and speak in. And so with the client portal, when we invite the client, we can invite the client and it reads the browser language in their email. And additionally, when they log into the portal, they actually go into the portal, it actually shows it in their language as well. So again, like, we have that seamless transition of saying, no matter what language you speak, we're going to be able to show you it in the way that your browser is expecting it to be shown in.
Love that.
So the second part of this, go ahead.
I think you might have been getting there. The second part is, does it handle adjuster calls or firm provider calls? I think Josh touched on this. It does that phone number lookup. So if it's an existing client, it would handle that one appropriately. If we do the phone number lookup, identify it as an adjuster, it would handle that call based on them being an adjuster. So absolutely.
Yeah, and each one of our systems allow for what we call tags, right? Each one of the contacts can be tagged with adjuster or referral source or law firm, or it's a provider, right? Those can all be tagged in the system and really be pushed in their certain ways. I've done many integrations with phone platforms. I don't I don't that's not a great thing to probably say. Like, it's really not the easiest thing in the world to do. But VoIP systems are all different. And so in a situation like this, there's a lot of endpoints that we've been creating for years as we've come across different ones. And so this ability to have it really tag and tell it where to go.
Another one about CaptureNow and handling outbound. We are about 30 days away from having full outbound dialing. So definitely would love to chat with you more about your requirements there, and definitely can accommodate that. And then Josh, looks like a question for you. We currently utilize HONA integration with Filevine. Is the portal a full replacement for this?
I would consider it a full replacement. I actually have a direct product manager working on that product as well, but I would consider it that if you would have asked me that a year ago, we were just releasing it to clients. We've seen, again, over 1 million actions in the client portal since then. We've seen 50,000 legal clients. We are consistently releasing new things. I can tell you that there's going to be 2 things released probably in the next month that are going to completely change how you're onboarded and how you completely roll out the portal to your customers. But yes, in my opinion, it is a HONA full replacement. Chris, Matt Hartley has a question on cost on implement CaptureNow into LeadDocket and Filevine.
Matt, there is usually a $500 cost for that. Here today on the webinar, if we want to wipe that cost away for you, if you're someone that would elect to move forward, we can comp that for you.
Chris being a nice guy on the webinar today.
I guess that would hold true for anybody on the webinar if you'd like to. That'd be a promo that we'd like to offer.
Yeah, I'll pop a demo link here. Anybody who signs up on the demo link within the next 48 hours, no onboarding fee. How about that?
That's awesome.
Cool. All right. That was the last question here.
It was. I'm actually going to ask a little bit of a technical question here, so just so some people have some background here. For outbound, I'd love to hear about it. Tell me a little bit more about the outbound. We have some options inside of LeadDocket that can pass webhooks, obviously, that can help with this, and some automations that will probably tie into some of this as well. So we'd love to hear about it, and let's hear it.
Yeah, you started it, Josh. So as that webhook, as you guys would have a lead that hits your LeadDocket environment, that would immediately hit us, and we would outbound that individual and essentially start that intake process on that new lead. And then once we go through that call, we would send an update back to the LeadDocket environment to up that existing lead that you have. And then we can set follow-up cadences. So the initial, as it comes in, hits LeadDocket, hits us, that would essentially be instantaneous from an outbound dial. But then we can also set up a follow-up. So if we were unable to reach that person initially, we can set a 4-hour, return call or a, next day return call to be able to continue to chase that individual.
That's awesome. Many of you that are LeadDocket clients, you'll know that we have Chase, and that is following our existing Chase status. That's really great. And I'll be honest, that's a huge ask for many of our customers. They want the outbound dialer. They want it to be triggered off events inside of LeadDocket because, at the end of the day, you can set a task for a human, but are they going to get to it exactly when it's assigned? Are they going to get to it based off of then? And most of the time that is no.
Yeah, and folks get busy. They get on a call and just things get missed. So it's not necessarily indictment on them. It's just tough to expect that from them.
Well, I think that goes back to Gary's point, right? He had a 3-minute phone call. How long does that take in when a human's on it, right? And that a difference between the 3 to 9 to 11 minutes that we're used to seeing is that task that may have been on another lead was being assigned at that time, right? Exactly. And so they're on a call that you need their focus to be on that call, but instead they're also getting that task. And so that ability to really have that happen for them is an incredible offering.
Yeah, thanks, Josh. We're excited about it. Awesome. Jordan, you want to wrap us up, bud?
Absolutely. Well, I think we all learned some fantastic information today about how to really combine these two systems and get the most out of what AI can actually do for your firm, and all the automations coming from Filevine. As we mentioned, anybody who books a demo will waive that onboarding fee for the next 48 hours. So we hope to be able to continue the conversation with many of you and put our AI agents to work, freeing up your teams so that you can get back to your lives and maximize revenue. Thank you all for joining us here today, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.